Hey everybody, it's Team Blaha here, and once again it is time for my client Michelle's vlog. And as we said last week, we're going to do 2 vlogs a week for her because her workouts are crazy long. Her training programming is very, very different from many of my other clients because we do 6 days a week. We do very high volume. But again, we need to state that this is for a lot of personal reasons. I do not have any other lifters who I would train in this manner. So we need to be clear this is due to her work ethic, her specific needs, her level of conditioning. So again, I'm not giving this as a prescription for other people. Michelle is kind of a special case in this regard. And it simply has to do with the fact that her conditioning and work ethic and specific needs are quite extreme. So that being said, we are still doing a 6-day upper-lower split. We're going to have the first 3 workouts in this vlog, and then the second vlog of the week we'll do the others. So to put in context, the first upper and the first lower will be in here than the first upper or the second upper. These are our heavier days. Now, she has lost strength since I was coaching her for powerlifting. We got her qualified for nationals. She broke state records in 2 different states. Now we are preparing for bikini and physique competition, okay? So we are bodybuilding, but because I do a lot of power building as a coach, and most of my people are still very, very strong, even my physique-oriented people, we still do some heavy squat, bench, and deadlift. So we start the week off with heavy barbell work, and then we do a bit of hypertrophy work for training volume afterwards. Although keep in mind, these 5s and 6s are still going to cause very significant muscle growth. But it follows the general principle that I have always promoted, that I think most good coaches have promoted, of heavy work followed by pump work. Now in her case, because we do so much weekly volume, we really only do heavy work 2 days. Okay, that's it. And then we progressively increase rep ranges with a larger bias towards isolation and machines in the latter half of the week. But in the early part of the week, we do a lot of stuff down around 5 to 6 reps for big barbell movements only. And then we do other stuff. So as you guys can see here, obviously we're doing pull-ups and bench press and an incline, but then we go over to some upright rows, right? So we do upright rows, then we do arm and shoulder work. Now, the upright rows being shoulder work. So here we have barbell curls, and then we do skull crushers. And now every couple of weeks we will rotate lifts, because what we also need for her is to alleviate boredom because of the large amounts of volume. She thrives on variation. Again, personality type. And it has to do with introverted versus extroverted lifters. This is stuff that Louis Simmons actually talked about. Okay, he talked about that in the past. I've seen Dave Tate talk about it for their lifters. So the idea here is that some people, we do need to rotate lifts purely for their motivational purposes. Now, the other thing to think about with this that I also want people to remember, overuse injuries. Okay, we do a lot of volume. We do a lot of volume for Michelle because we almost use lifting as GPP for her. And for those unfamiliar with the term, it's general physical preparedness or strength-based conditioning. So, again, even circuit training, barbell complexes, sled work, these are things that we classify as weighted carries. These all fall under GPP, general physical preparedness. Okay, her volumes are high enough that it is easing into that area. So we're using it for conditioning. We're using it for heart health, fat burn. And then, of course, she does cardio every single day. Okay, she does both higher intensity cardio and then she does daily list cardio. Okay, so over an hour of biking every single day. Every day. That's what she does. So, again, the other thing to think about is the overuse. By rotating lifts, we take stress off those specific movement patterns, those specific tendons, and it will allow us to do this sort of volume with a lower risk of overuse injuries. All right. So over here, you're kind of seeing the same pattern repeating. What do we see on the first lower body day? We come in and do back squats. Now, good to see her under the bar again because, again, while she was away for a bit from Team Blaha after being with me for 2 years here, she wasn't doing the classic lifts. The other coach didn't have her doing that. We're returning to this. We need to get her jacked again. She knows that she's lost muscle. And if we're going to bodybuild, we're going to do bodybuilding stuff, we need to get jacked and stacked. So she's going to drop down lighter. So she's probably going to go down about 20 pounds as she gets closer to competition. But that's body weight. We need to recomposition her. We need to regain the old muscle we lost while losing 20 pounds. So it's actually going to be more than 20 pounds of body fat. So we need to get these big classic lifts back up. And so that's what we're also doing here, because that's part of her foundation. Okay. For those curious to know, we're not powerlifting again, but she is open to the possibility of she has said long term, she does want to do some powerlifting meets again, in addition to doing physique competition. Why? Because she's a serious athlete. She's like, why compete in only one thing, right? I can dig it. And as a coach, I can dig it. So we got to get those up. So we're squatting and deadlifting again. But as you see, we also do other work here. So on this day, in addition to the squatting and deadlifts, we do fairly heavy leg presses. We also use, because we're already loading the leg press and using it for leg presses, we're doing it for calf work. And calves are going to be, again, pretty dang important because, again, for any sort of physique competition, you better have calves. So we do leg presses to make sure that we get a second quad and glute exercise there. Then we do a glute ham raise to work that other function of the hamstring, because we have the deadlift as a hip hinge here, and we do a lot of hip hinging. But when we think of the functions of the hamstring, what does it do? Hip hinge works most of the muscle, but you do need some knee flexion if you want to fully work that third head of the hamstring. So we're using that GHR to do that. All right, second upper day. Chest is something we've got to bring up for her. She was not training chest. Chest was previously a weak link before, both for powerlifting purposes. Because of shoulder issues, she was not able to wide grip bench for a long time. She did mostly closed grip. We got her shoulder health on point to where she could, but pectorals have been lagging, and she's been a very tricep dominant bencher. Okay, now her pecs have regressed since then, so I need to get her chest growing, because we need that. If she's going to step on a stage, we have to have pecs. We have to have chest separation. So we are working her chest from all three angles. You will notice throughout the week, we do incline. We do a couple different incline, a couple different flat. We do decline. Okay, we need to work that. So I am working her chest from all three of those angles. We are doing both barbell work and dumbbell work, and then we even do cable flies towards the end of the week. So here, what you see, again, dumbbell decline. Then we do pull-ups. Now she can do pull-ups again. We got 6 right there. I had her doing 15. We are going to get back to 15. It is going to happen, and it's going to happen fast. Right? She was a beast on pull-ups, and we're going to get that back, because we need lats. Again, the same thing, V-taper. Right? We need that V-taper. Get the waist smaller, the lats wider. So what are we doing throughout this stuff? We're doing, for the back, we're doing pull-ups. We're doing one-arm dumbbell rows. Then we do upright rows for shoulders on this day, and then we come in and we get some arm work in, right? We need bis and tris. So again, we need to isolate those things. These are muscles, if you look at it, actually we're isolating pretty much everything if you watch throughout the week. But on these days, you're seeing bicep, tricep, shoulder isolation work, seeing pec isolation work throughout later in the week. Okay, hitting all these things. So we do preacher curls here. So again, we did barbell curls on the first day, preacher curls on the second, and then we'll do incline curls on the third day. That covers all the possible angles if you look involved with how the biceps function, shoulder positions. And then, of course, we do rope press down, supersetted with those on this day. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. That's the end of the vlog for these 3 workouts. So I hope it has been informative and entertaining, and I will talk to you guys and gals next time.